We are working problems live. This is the first time that we are ever streaming on TikTok as well as we're live. Um, Hi, thank you for joining us. So, let me tell you what we do here. On Wednesdays, we do Work It Out Wednesdays. So, we work out problems for free. If you have homework problems you want us to help with, if you are looking for certain strategies, you can email us your problems. We will bring them up here, or you can try to drop them in the chat, things like that. And I'm going to get us started here in a second. I'm just going to give everybody a moment to join us. And like I said, this is the first time that we have ever done TikTok. So please be patient with us. And I'm still, just being honest, working on my camera strategy with TikTok, because we're streaming at the same time on YouTube and Instagram. So we're going to see how this whole camera dual situation goes tonight. But love that you all are here. And we're going to get right to it. We have had some requests. A TikTok request is, can you do a division by box method again? And we've had an order of operations request as well. So I am going to kick us off with box method division. And then from there, we will head into our order of operation problem. And from there, we'll just see how the night goes. All righty. And let me know in the chat if you can't see when I get started, because I want to make sure that you can. Okay. Let's jump into this. I'm going to start us off with something simple, and then we will go from there. So we're going to do 7 divided by, and this is where it becomes a box. And hopefully both of my cameras can see it right now. Okay. We're going to do 7 divided by 343. All right. And we call this a box method because, unlike regular division, we're actually going to do all of our work inside of the box, and we're going to bring up versus bringing down. So we ask ourselves, how many groups of 7 are in 3? Well, for here, we don't have any, right? So we could just put a 0. And so because I want to show you how to do box method, I'm just going to follow all the steps. So 3 minus 0. And like I said, we actually bring up instead of bring down. So now that's 34. And we're going to ask ourselves, how many groups of 7 are in 34? Or what times 7 gets us close to 34? And it's almost 5, but it's not quite. So that is 4. And that will give us 28. So we are going to subtract our 28 from here. And we're going to get a 6. And again, we're going to bring up. And so now we have 63. And so 7 divided by 63, or how many groups are in 63, or what times 7 gives us 63. And I'm going to ask for some chat participation. So what times 7 gives us 63, my friends? Did anybody say 9? I'm not sure how I can see when people speak on TikTok while I'm live. That's actually, if anybody knows, that would be great. Anywho, 9. Thank you, Miss Stanley, in the chat. So then we have 9, and we're going to subtract by 63, and we get 0. And so this is division by box method. Let me know if you all would like to see another one. Someone in the chat here on TikTok says, I have a few that needs help with. All right, send us your problems. We can absolutely help you, or if you want us to do something else, we can. So if you're asking yourself, can I do this box method thing with harder numbers? We absolutely can. All righty, so we are going to move to our next problem here. And thank you everyone for your patience tonight, as this is a little new setup for us for sure. So we are going to do, that's spicy. Okay, 45. And then I'm going to draw my box. And hopefully everybody can see well. And we have 7, 6, 5 here. All right, 45 divided by 765. Okay, you said that you wanted to do 145 divided by 6. We absolutely can. As a matter of fact, I will go ahead and jump into your problem for you then. So if we do 6 and you want to do 1, 4, 5, and hopefully everybody can kind of see that. Alrighty, so let's go over our steps. So you do the same steps that you do for long division, except for instead of bringing down, we are going to bring up. It's exactly the same. So we always ask ourselves, how many groups of 6 can go into 1? Well, that's 0. So then we're going to subtract, and then we're going to bring up. So now we have 14. Or those tens or hundreds have joined our 14, basically. So how many groups of 6 do we have in 14? Well, that's 2. And we know that 6 times 2 is 12. So we're going to subtract by 12. And 14 minus 2 gives us 2. And then again, we're going to bring up. And we're going to get 25. So now we're going to do how many groups of 6 are in 25? Well, we know what gets us 6 times what gets us close to 25. If anybody knows, you can drop that in the chat. Do you all provide AP statistics? We have tutors that can absolutely support you in AP statistics. That is not my forte on live, but we can absolutely get you connected with somebody. Alrighty, we said 4, which is correct. And 4 times 6 is 24. So we are going to subtract. We're going to get 1. And guess what? We don't have anywhere to go up. So what is that 1? It is our remainder. So remainder 1. So our answer will be 25, remainder 1. So all the ways that you can do long division, you can absolutely do this by box method. You do not have to just do this by regular long division. Okay, so that is 1 for the night. And then Kimberly is my business partner and assistant here at Math-A-Matics tutoring for the lives. Did you find the order of operations that somebody left in our comments that they wanted us to work tonight? If not, I'll move on to something else until you find a request. We did have a request for order of operations for sure. And feel free, if I can see it in this TikTok chat, I will absolutely work your problems for you. All right, coming my way shortly. All righty, so around here, we have a lot of students working on fractions. So we are all about fractions. Hopefully you all can see this kind of okay. It might be a little too hard for my Insta people. Let me see. I'm going to leave this camera alone over here. Because, no, I can't do it. Okay, so my Instagram people can see it well, but I don't think my TikTok people can see it well, but not my Instagram. All righty. So when we do fractions by number line, so it says Amy ran for 6 miles. Place a dot on the number line at the location that represents the amount of miles that Amy ran. So the first thing we tell our students to do is look at their number line and let's count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we know because our denominator is 6 that we're going to make our denominator 6 for all of our pieces. And it's a great way to tell our students, look at this number line as just little pieces. Like we've cut up the fractional pieces here. And each one, like we said, we count like regular. So this is 1 6, 2 6, 3 6, 4 6, 5 6, and 6 over 6, which we know is one whole, which would equal that 1 that they already gave us. And just our students understanding what we have, then it's easy for us to choose what the question is asking for. Well, it said place a dot at 4 over 6. Now we can do that. And anytime a student can absolutely do this with the number line by remembering we use our denominator, and that denominator will be the same on our number line, and then we use our numerator, and we find our numerator on the number line by actually counting our pieces that have been divided up on that number line, and that creates our pieces for our measurements too. And I am going to do another one here as well. And then we're going to hop on over to our order of operations from there. All righty. So a cricket jumped 7/8 foot, and draw the cricket jump and label the number line at 7/8. So again, we're going to count. So we know we want 7/8, and our denominator is 8, and we're just going to check our pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we do have 8 pieces. And if you notice how I'm counting, I'm not counting that 0, right? 0 is what it is. It's 0. So that does not start our count. So then we're going to put our 8 denominator all here. And then now we're going to actually 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5, 6/8, 7/8, and 8 over 8, which aligns because that is one whole. And then it asks us to put our point and label the cricket's jump. Well, that cricket jump right here. He went from 0 to 7/8 would be how we would label the cricket jumps. And these are the kind of questions parents or students that are here that a lot of states test on. These are the kinds of questions they ask, not only to see, does your student know what 7/8 is, but how do I visually represent 7/8? How do I find that measurement on a number line? How do I find it on a measurement tool? Things like that. And that's what this concept is really for sure. All righty, and Kimberly found me what I was looking for tonight. She found me my order of operations problem, and I am going to work that out. It looks like somebody else might have worked it out for us too. I'm going to take a look here in a minute. Thank you for all the loves tonight. We have 205 hearts on TikTok right now. I'm like, okay, we loving it. Alrighty, so we were given order of operation 8 divided by 2, parentheses 2 plus 2. Alrighty, let me make sure everybody can see that. Okay, so now we are going to use our order of operation steps. And I'm a little old school here, just to be honest with you. Oh, okay. Well, we have a little math challenge tonight. Someone's telling us that we're wrong. So we're going to see, we're going to work this out live together and see what answer we get. All righty. So we always, like I said, I'm old school, so I'm used to please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. But nowadays, a lot of our students use what we call GEMDAS, which is groupings instead of parentheses. And parentheses is considered a grouping for sure as well. And what we use, we have a strategy guide, and it has the steps for order of operation. And that is what we follow when we are doing these things. And this is something we've created, and I just love how it goes step by step and gives an example. And this is what we'll use as we do our problem. So we have 8 divided by 2, which is multiplying by 2 plus 2. Well, the first thing it said, right, was G for grouping. So that's where we're going to start, which is our 2 plus 2, which will give us 4. And then since this 2 is multiplying technically by 2 plus 2, we have to keep that 2 on the outside. And we have to keep this parentheses still because we're not quite done with it yet, if that makes sense. And let me know if it does not make sense. Then, because that's technically still a parentheses there, we are going to multiply by that 2. So we will do the 2 times the 4, because we're not quite finished with it. So I think the argument here is, do we follow the order of operation steps, which says multiplying and dividing, and that you go from right to left? That is the argument. Which would we do? Will we go right to left, or will we multiply this 4 by the 2 is the question. So if we go right to left, we would do left to right. Excuse me. Left to right. I am mispronouncing. Left to right. We would, me and my assistant are over here going back and forth. If we go left to right, then you would divide first. So if we divided first, we would get 4. Because you're multiplying 2 times 4 first, because we still treat this as a parentheses because the 2 is multiplying by the 4. Because the 2 is doing something to the parentheses. So we haven't completely finished the parentheses off. So it will actually be an 8 here. Okay. So then it will be 8 divided by 8, which would give us 1. And I know this is the part right here where everybody has the disagreement. But in my opinion, just my opinion, my thoughts, because we technically haven't gotten rid of this parentheses, we have to complete this before we can move down to the next steps of that order of operations. But okay, order of operations is always a touchy subject. No, the grouping part isn't finished. I'm answering people in the chat. It's not finished because let's talk about this, right? You can't just leave this 4 out here written. It's not like we can say 2 and 4. Well, that's not going to look like a 24. We can't assume what the operation's happening. So we have to keep the parentheses, and you haven't completed what has happened with that parentheses. I got some people who don't agree with me, but Let's see. We're going to have to put this out. We're going to have to get a poll going for this problem here for sure. That ain't it. It ain't it. It's not it. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Okay. Well, I know you don't want to come up here so we can debate, but I would love to.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You jumped on to come
Here's
debate.
my appearance.
Unfortunately, all of our TikTok viewers can't even see this debate tonight.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Come on.
Because it's multiplication, you assume that it's multiplication. If you put that in the calculator as is, by PEMDAS, GEMDAS, BODAS, whichever one you use, you have to go left to right. So remember, multiplication, even though in the acronym it says MD, it depends on which appears first. So once you evaluate 2 plus 2, that's correct, you get the 4. But now that becomes 2 times 4. Division appears first. So you have to do 8 divided by 2, which is 4, and then multiply by 4. The answer is 16. That is multiplication. So think about when we do, for example, when we do just solving equations.
Whereas
we have, you got to think about
like you're still treating the parentheses though.
Yes, but the parentheses there's nothing remaining in the parentheses that requires you to evaluate.
4 is remaining in the parentheses. It's not necessarily an evaluation of 4.
Exactly.
So now,
so it never changed. So in your initial part, 8 divided by 2 times 2 plus 2, it's still multiplication. You would distribute that 2 amongst it. If you put in the calculator, I know the argument is if we put like it actually has division, meaning we had 8 in the numerator and then a full bar, that changes the problem. But in order of operations, as is, division appears first.
Because it's left to right is why.
Because it's left to right.
Not that division appears first, because multiplication and division, they're equal.
They're not. They're equal, but it's always what appears first. So same thing. Let's change it and say it was addition and subtraction.
Yeah.
The same thing. If we look, I'm going to use PEMDAS because that's just what I'm used to. So same thing. A and S are equal, but it depends on which appears first when you read it from left to right.
So somebody says, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally still right? Yes.
Yes.
It is right.
It is right.
But now you will see our kids have gotten fancy and they are using GEMDAS, which stands for groupings. And we have the acronym graciously excuse my dear Aunt Sally. You know, they've done a little something different out here these days.
So this is why I actually love, because it actually happens to us too when we're doing the math. Because if you saw this differently, like when I say putting it as a fraction, that changes the problem.
It does. Absolutely
changes the problem. But as written, and this is where I'll be honest with you, I love math, but this is where it gets confusing because it's the same problem, but it all depends on how I write it. So because one, and I guarantee you, if this was a multiple choice test, 1 and 16 are both going to be answer choice.
Of course it was going to be.
So I think it's worth us doing another one. But keep in mind, so even if we wrote out, so for example, Don, go ahead.
So where is Mr. Duncan Thompson? Or
so he actually commented on I want to say a reel we released maybe yesterday, and he said, "Okay, that's great, but how do you work this problem?" And so when he commented, he shared, "No, I actually commented and said it was 16." And he said, "No, mathematics, you have it wrong." And I love these because let's be honest, these are the ones that go viral. Every time there's an order of operation because everybody's arguing whether it's 16 or 1. But I understand the issue. But if this was on our fifth graders here in Texas do order of operations. If this was a test question, the answer is 16.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, TikTok people, y'all can't see me.
No, TikTok people.
But I think we should definitely do another one. And y'all know I don't come on these live. So, if order of operations got me on this live, it's getting real.
All righty. So what's going to be our next number?
Let me look you up another one.
We need another one.
Hi, y'all.
Controversy. fired up, as Jessica says. For my TikTok people, any questions in here and my Insta? Any questions? Anybody want to comment or would like us to work out anything specifically for them as well before we tackle something else? And I'm going to just check. Oh, where did that go? Okay. While we wait on her to bring us something good. Are you bringing me something, Kimberly, or am I looking up? Okay, we are going to continue on our fraction change. Oh, someone said my daughter got a problem and needs help. All right, what's the problem? We want to be the solution tonight. What's the problem? Now, my problem is I don't even know how to chat back with you all. I'm going to need like a whole how to use. I think I found it. Okay. If you need to email your problem, you can. All right. There you go. All righty. We got a new order of operations for everybody. That's what we needed. All right, let's bring on the controversy. Kimberly, you didn't give us any controversy here. We need a controversy. All righty. So we have, and I want to make sure everybody can see this. Oh, no, they cannot. All right, we have 7 minus 24 divided by 8 times 4 plus 6. So this is a good problem that really shows us how the whole left to right works. So we're going to go back to our strategy guide, and it is GEMDAS. Well, we have no groupings, we have no exponents. So we're at multiplication and division. And we know that we are going to work left to right with that. So let's first identify all of our multiplication and division tonight. So we have this 24 divided by 8, and we have 8 times 4. And so since this is first, or from my left, this is what we're going to do first. So we're going to rewrite that 7 minus, and what is 24 divided by 8? Or what's 8? What times 8 gives us 24? And that is 3 times 4 plus 6. All right, now we're going to keep going because we know we have this multiplication here. And so we're going to do that 3 times 4, and we're just going to rewrite. So 7 minus 3 times 4 is 12 plus 6. All righty. And now we are to our addition and subtraction. And again, we have to work left to right. All right. And working left to right, we are going to do 7 minus 12 first. And this is an integer really. So I always tell my students, we're going to subtract right like their traditional number. So like 12 minus 7. So we know that's 5. And then it gets the sign of the biggest number's absolute value, which would be our 12. So it will be a -5. And we're going to bring down that plus 6. And so now we have a -5 plus a 6. So we do same sign, we add, but different signs, we subtract. So since we have a minus and a positive, we are going to subtract. So 5 minus 6 is 1, and it gets the sign of the bigger number, which is 6. So it is a positive 1. All righty. And if you like this anchor chart or anchor charts like this, we have um, these strategy guides from grades 3 through algebra 1 with different anchor charts and strategies for you. And if you drop the word strategy on Instagram, we can send you the direct link to it as well. Alrighty, my person who had a question request. Did you get us an email? Have you sent over your problem yet for us to work it out? I don't know. I don't think so. No, I don't know how. Oh, if you look up, I sent the email. Do you see the email that I put in the chat? help@mathematicstutoring.com. All righty. And we have another order of operations. Jessica, can you put the email in there again for her? All righty. And until then, I am going to do 5 divided by 2 times 3 times 7 minus 8. All righty. Yes, y'all both can see. All right, and we're going to keep it going with these order of operations and then giving our person time. So Jim Das, we're going to start with those groupings again. And so that is our 3 times 7 in our parentheses, and we're just going to rewrite everything else, which will give us 21 minus 8. Then we are going to go to multiplying and dividing again. And we're going to go left to right, like our strategy says as well. So we have division first of 5 divided by 2. And let me make sure. Okay. So we're actually going to get a decimal for this one. Kimberly, did you give me one offhand? You just made these numbers up? Yes? No? I'm just curious. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, I got it. Alrighty, so let's ask ourselves, how many times does 2 go into 5? So I'm actually even going to come to the side. We know 2 times 2 will give us 4. We get 1, which we could give a good old decimal, 0, 10, 5. So we'll get 2.5 times 21 minus 8. And so we're going to keep going here. And just for visual purposes, might want to do some multiplication and things off to the side. So we'll get a 5, we'll get a 10, add our 0, 2, and a 4. So we'll get 5, 2, 5. And since we have one decimal place here, oh, you cannot see any of my work on that screen. Since we have one decimal place here, we're just going to put a decimal there. So we will have 52.5 minus 8. And we will still, I will turn that here just because, right, we can't sideways subtract. So that's a 5, 4, 12, 44.5. There are a lot of decimals. We lost you. Well, I lost you because we had to come and do a lot of work off to the side because it wasn't a straightforward whole number type problem. There was a lot of decimals in here. Somebody even gave me the symbol that, like, I blew their mind on this one. I know. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Alrighty, so we are going to get back to our fractions tonight on this next problem. Oh, it is 8:08. I was trying to wait. Scratch paper can be our best friend. Yes, scratch paper is our very best friend, and especially around here. So I did order of operations. I did box method division that was requested. Okay. Did my mom trying to email a problem? I don't think I've seen anything from you. Gonna give you some time. I'll try to work 2 more before we hop off tonight if I don't get an email from you. Alrighty, staying with our fractions, and hopefully my people can see it. Which one? I'm just gonna choose the first one. Cody and Parker ate an entire pizza. Cody ate 2/5 of the pizza and Parker ate the rest. Which statement is true? So I would tell my students or student, first let's draw this because we got to figure out how much did Parker have, right? So we know what Cody had, but what did Parker have? So we're going to draw us a circle. And we're going to get us 5 pieces here. And my pieces they're not equal tonight, but that's okay. And so we know that Cody had 2/5. And so that means that Parker had 3/5 because we have 3 pieces that are not shaded from Cody. So now the question is, Cody ate less than half of the pizza and Parker ate more than half of the pizza. Cody ate more than half of the pizza, and Parker ate less than half of the pizza. Or each boy ate more than half of the pizza. Each boy ate less than half of the pizza. Well, because 5 isn't an even number, this could definitely be confusing for a student, right? Well, we know that half of 5 is really 2.5, right? So basically 2.5. So 2 slices and half a slice is really how I would explain that. So if each of us got 2 slices and we split that third slice in half, that would be, and my phone just died on my TikTok people, 2 slices, and we split that third in half, that would be us having equal pieces. But because we know Parker had that whole third slice, well, then he has more than half. And since Cody didn't have that half a slice, that means he had less than half. So it's A because Cody had less than half and Parker ate more than half of the pizza. And this is a really great problem where you need to use those visual aids as well as making sure our students they understand our common fractions like half. What is cutting something in half together? What does that look like? What is sharing something equally? And so making sure that we understand this. And this is a 4th grade level problem that we solved here. All righty. And then I am going to solve one from 5th grade, and I still don't think I've received an email from the parent. So this will be my last problem of the night. Kimberly, is somebody saying something? Do they need something? Okay, you were looking like they did. All righty. It says Olivia and her sisters are painting their bedroom. Olivia has painted 3/4 of the bedroom. Her sister has painted 1/6 of the bedroom. How much of the bedroom has they painted? So Olivia has done 3/4 of it, and her sister has done 1/6 of it. So we are going to be adding these fractions together. And again, going to my strategy guide. And what I love about this strategy guide too, y'all, if y'all can see all of this, because I'm doing team too much, this table of contents, when I can just look at the table of contents and see what I'm solving and find what I need with a quickness for our students. Because it's all about them having visual aids to help them. And so we have a topic in here saying adding fractions with unlike denominators. So I'm going to go to page 17 really quick. And bow. This is exactly what I was about to share and show. What we like to do. Well, we don't have the same denominator, so we need the same denominator first. And we can do the old school way, or we can even do a strategy. But we can absolutely use this. And as you see, step by step to follow how we would solve this. So first step, it says, let's find the common denominator. So I like to tell our students, let's just multiply these two numbers together. So we get 24 and 24. All right. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. Or what you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So that means we multiplied by 6 here and we multiplied by 4 here. So we know 3 times 6 is 18 and 4 times 1 is 4. And we're going to add those together. And we will get a 2, I carry our 1, 22 over 24. All righty. And then what could we do to this? Well, we can simplify, we can reduce all of those words that you like to say here because they're both even. So because they're both even, let's just split them in half. So that will be 11 over 12. All righty. I know back in my heyday, they used to be like, what is the lowest common factor or denominator that you can find in common? Your LCD first is what we would find. But I like to say, just go ahead and multiply those. You can simplify this and find that lowest term when you get to the end. But you have to be really comfortable with realizing you have even numbers or being able to factor these numbers to break it down to this lowest or simplest form. But this is it for tonight. Please tell a friend. We hope to see you next week on here. You can join us now on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. That's what you went with. All right, Miss Stanley. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we are happy to not only help you with your problems, we're happy to debate and have discussions over math, just as we did. And we are a math tutoring company. We do have a big Black Friday sale that will be coming. So keep your eyes out for that too. On our Instagram, make sure you're following us so you'll be the first in the know. And we will see you next. Well, will we see them next Wednesday? Maybe not next Wednesday. I don't know. Maybe we should. Keeping it consistent. Maybe we'll be here next Wednesday. I don't know. We're going to see how this cooking goes. Because I got a whole lot of dishes to make. But we hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we may just see you next week. Bye bye.